Hello. We're going to give ourselves 5 minutes to talk about all the movies that we recently watched. But it may take less than 5 minutes for some of these. But that's the absolute max.
Because otherwise we'll go on for too long.
Yeah, so we're going to give ourselves 5 minutes to talk about each of these movies. And these may or may not be the most coherent thoughts that we share in these 5 minutes. But here are takeaways. And we also watched these a little while back, so we might not remember everything. But let's get it started. Let's start with love letters. Let me go ahead and start the timer. Okay, so thoughts on love letters overall. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways. I say thumbs up.
Thumbs up, yeah.
I liked it. Overall, I thought, I didn't feel like I wasted my time or anything watching it.
Which happens a lot.
I liked it. It's a movie that I think I would want to watch again to see how I actually feel about it.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see how the couple navigated adoption and a pregnant wife, and after legally gay marriage was legalized in France very soon when this movie took place. So that was interesting. Yeah, I mean, I never watched or understood the history of legalizing gay marriage in France, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a movie that has queer themes, I guess. Kind of talk about this specific bureaucratic process of becoming the adoptive parent of a child that your partner is having. It's weirdly specific, but also not that specific. Obviously gay people are having kids, but it's just interesting to see this specific story being told, because I feel most people, if given that premise, would think that there's not enough of a premise for it to be a movie. But there definitely is. And it's a pretty short movie, though. It goes by really quickly. And
didn't feel rushed to me, though.
Yeah. Before you know it's done, and you're like, oh.
It definitely helps that the film, I think the director or the writer or whoever is basing it off of her own life. Which I assume helped in terms of making the movie. But yeah, I thought it was well made, well acted. No harsh criticisms or disappointments while watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I did like the cinematography, and there were specific sequences of the film itself that I was wow, that is exactly how I would have filmed that scene.
What are you talking about? Because I'm already starting to forget.
Yeah, that's fair. The scene where they're at the bar, at the end, and Ella is at the pool table and that guy's talking shit or whatever, and then her wife punches the guy or whatever,
mm-hmm.
and then they run away. And I was like, oh my god, this is so scam. This is giving scam. And then they run away and they go on the bus, and then, they go clubbing
mm-hmm.
and stuff. Those sequences, is exactly how I would have liked to film it. And it almost has a music video-esque quality to it.
Mm-hmm.
Where, if you just got certain clips of the movie itself and strung it along to make a shorter narrative with a song as a backdrop
mm-hmm.
instead of, dialogue. It's entirely possible to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm remembering things more as you're saying it, and I remember the bar scene. I liked it, the way it made me feel emotionally, and I remember also liking the club scene as well. What's that one song they played? What about you and me?
It's called You and Me. At least I think it's called You and Me.
Oh yeah, it's Flume, right?
Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah. I liked those scenes too.
I think there were some interesting ideas there with
Her
Ella
family.
and her mom and their relationship both to music. I think it's interesting how
Yeah.
Ella's character is a DJ and her mom's, you know, a piano player. And
Yeah.
clearly the way the movie makes these parallels explicitly, but you can see the way that they both listen to music and the way that they experience a room and imagine music to be played in a room. That's one of the things I have a gripe about the movie is that I wish there was more. Like I wish it was like 15 minutes longer or like 30 minutes longer if possible.
Yeah. There definitely could have been more with her mom and her, and also the wife's family as well.
Mm-hmm.
The dinner scene was interesting. To see the dynamic and stuff. In general, I don't feel it's not necessarily like I dock point.
You're done. You can't.
5 minutes. All right.
Wait,
Next
what were you gonna say though?
Okay, I was just gonna say that I wouldn't like dock points off because of the length of the movie.
Yeah.
But anyways, 5 minutes up. Next one, The Little Sister, which we watched in theater. Overall,
You gotta start the timer.
oh shit, starting the timer now. Okay, The Little Sister. Overall, thumb sideways, I guess.
Yeah, thumb sideways.
Definitely, I did not enjoy it as much as Love Letters.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the strongest part was the beginning with her high school friends and her conflict with the gay kid in her class.
Oh, that was good.
And her beating up the kid and like
That was good.
assaulting him essentially.
Yeah.
And the gay kid being like you're gay, you know, like that was good. And that was interesting.
It's something we've seen before for sure, but usually with a gay guy and a gay guy who's in the closet.
Right.
And it's usually a show of, you know, masculinity and a reassertion of the masculinity
Wait,
that
he
he
was
thinks he
gay,
doesn't have.
right?
Who?
The bully?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, just checking.
Usually it's a gay guy and then a supposedly straight guy who's not straight. But to see it with a lesbian and a gay guy, that's like really like, whoa. Like, that was one of the best moments of the movie for sure for me.
I would definitely say that was the best part of the movie for me.
I just wish they did more with that in the aftermath, but
yeah, I don't need her to like apologize to him. Or,
no,
like,
that would have been
no, but I want like a callback to it or something. But there wasn't really a direct callback to it, and I wish there was, because I think that would have been an interesting dynamic to deal with like her internalized homophobia and stuff. I know that she, you know, has her religious inner conflict, and, you know, goes to the mosque, and her family, you know, she doesn't necessarily come out at the end and stuff, which I think is totally fine. But I don't know, I thought it would have been interesting to keep going, or at least touching back to that again, at some point in the movie. The other thing I will say is the main actress, her acting was like, to me, like a pretty like standout performance in terms of like her relationship to her mom, her relationship with her friends, and just her overall performance I thought was pretty good. Yeah, I did also think the other strongest part was her and her mom at the conversation at the very end of the movie, where she's crying and stuff, and like I can imagine myself being in a similar position. I have been in a similar position where you're crying in front of your parent and you can't tell them why. But yeah, those are the things I liked about it.
It's just unfortunate that this movie didn't meet my expectations, because it is an interracial relationship among people that aren't white, which is like really rare to see to begin with, and it's lesbian, so like that's also hard to see. But yeah, I'm always rooting for representation with people of color to be good, but personally for me it just wasn't there.
This one wasn't
But
the case.
in terms of the standout moments, it would definitely be the scene where she beats up the guy, and then the other one where she is not really coming out to her mom, but essentially like, you know, that's what she wants to do. And the faults of the movies The good parts don't make up for the bad parts. There's too many storylines that don't really get resolved, slash, like, to me, like, are just weak. And I'm like, is nobody worried about their age? Yeah, the boyfriend plotline is, like, completely, like, wasted potential, I guess. I wouldn't even include it in the script to begin with.
Once he's gone, he shouldn't have come back, let's just say that.
Yeah. And then, like, the hat stays on during sex. The relationship with her and her...
up scene with her, with the Asian
relationship...
girl.
In general, the relationship with her and the Asian girl, like, you didn't convince me as to why they're together and why they think that each other are, like,
this
more
much impact on each other
than the other people that they've been dating and stuff. Like, it doesn't even
That's the thing. The
like, you're also, like, the love interest girl is 30. Like, you're telling me you never met someone else.
Right. Like, this is the one. That I wasn't convinced by. The main girl. I mean, the main girl was hooking up with so many people. I'm like, really? Like, this specific person was the one for you? I'm not saying, like, I just feel like if you wrote it differently, I could have believed it. But yeah, time's up for the little sister. Let's move on to the next one, which is The King's Warden. And I'll start the timer now. This movie, I don't know what... we watched this in the theater as well. It was just fine. Like, I know what I'm in for when you watch a Korean movie. Like, it's not like trying to take itself super, super seriously. I think me and you came out the theater thinking the same exact thing while watching it, that there was, again, another missed opportunity with making it gay. The king and the warden's son. There's definitely a lot of room for potential there. And I was like, maybe they're gonna make it, but of course they didn't. Like, I was just dreaming. But yeah, there was a lot of good material there if they did make it gay. Like, could you imagine, like when the son was getting beat, slapped or whatever, or hit by the wooden stick, the king could have, he was there confronting everyone, telling them to stop, but it would have been added that extra oomph if no one knew, but we knew that they were actually also romantically involved as well. That would have added an extra layer, although I know that wouldn't happen in this movie. But yeah, that's the main takeaway I had.
Yeah, it was kind of just like a nothing movie, honestly. Like, I get it, but also, like, people are gonna die. It's just like, for a movie that's supposed to be portraying this king, we didn't really get to know him much. Like,
no,
he's just like the perfect guy, I guess. And he was also a kid, but like, fine. Like, maybe he wasn't able to grow fully into a sentient human being. Whatever the fuck. Anyways, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was fine. I honestly did get emotional, but I think that was just my mirror neurons.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of gay potential, and I think that would have really made the movie, like, so much better. And I honestly, it could have, it just would have made the movie more interesting and purposeful. I feel like the relationship between the warden and the king was not convincing enough for me to see it stretch out into 120 minutes. I feel like there should have been a bit more push and pull with their relationship, or at least with his actual son involved. Because they kind of hinted towards, like, a jealousy thing, but also it wasn't serious at all.
That would have been an interesting theme to develop further.
Yeah, it would have just been a lot better if there was gayness. But I'm going to make an edit, so you'll see it soon. You'll see it.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how much of this is accurate. I know that the king existed and was, like, executed and stuff. But, like, I'm just wondering, like, I think it's, like, he was actually, like, a lot younger than the actor in the movie and stuff when he actually went to that island. And he was at that island or that place for, like, many years, or, like, a couple years, or, like, a longer length of time. which would have been more interesting to see, but like in this movie it looks like it was just like a couple months maybe, which made it things like in my mind like why is it that deep between like the warden and the king. And a lot of the movie the king was like not eating and like not socializing and not really making relationships with the townspeople. So that not that the time was wasted, but like I again wasn't convinced that he all of a sudden cares about these townspeople and like has such a strong relationship with the father and stuff. But the true story it's based on is sad. I mean, duh, like bruh, like knowing that the graves are still like near each other to this day, and that the father buried him and they died, I guess like their graves are near each other, that made me a little emotional to read. But like I have no idea what the actual story is like, and how much of this is historical fiction or embellished. But yeah, I mean, not bad, not great. I don't know if there's much else to say. Funny at times. The food that they focused on, that was funny. I would be eating the king's food too. And that's 5 minutes. Moving on to My Father's Shadow. I'll start the timer now. We also watched this in the theater, but we were like 10 minutes late, so we didn't get the full context at the beginning. But overall, I liked this movie. I would say thumbs up. Yeah, I liked it. It's one of those movies that take place in a day, but I feel like I didn't feel like I was missing a lot, or like I don't feel like I am like, oh, why was it a day long? Like, why couldn't it have been longer? For a movie that takes place in a day, I feel like it did it well.
This movie is automatically a lot better than The Little Sister and the King's Warden.
Definitely.
Like, right off the bat, even though we missed the first 10 minutes, you can immediately tell who these characters are. This character building and set design and cinematography really clues you into what environment you're in, and what, like, it just immediately takes you back into a previous time. I wasn't even born, but it's just like there's a lot more character in the way that this movie feels and looks. Maybe it's because it was shot on film, and the other ones that we were talking about, none of them were. Well, Love Letters might have been filmed on film, actually. But the performances are pretty good. Mm-hmm. I think that there's a lot of interesting ideas and dynamics at play between the sons and the father. I'm annoyed that I didn't get to see the mom in the beginning. I assumed she was there, but we didn't really get to see her interact with her kids until the end. But they didn't even really interact because it was just a funeral. I think there was a lot of kind of dreamlike sequences, mm-hmm. and documentary-esque footage that makes you feel like you're truly just watching mm-hmm. real people in this random day of their life, in this very politically charged time in, is it Nigeria?
I think it was Nigeria.
And obviously I am not from Africa, so I don't know what the political... I'm not super aware of the political stuff going on in Nigeria, but it's interesting to get a glimpse of that through this movie. Obviously, you can't know... A movie can't handhold you throughout everything, but... yeah. It's interesting also the religious aspects, because there was a lot of people in the movie who were calling on God and referencing God, and it's interesting. I think it's interesting because it's very accurate in times like mm-hmm. Where your future is very uncertain, that people do resort to religion. They want the idea of this
this fate, this larger plan.
And, like, I might be fucked, but, like, hopefully there's somebody out there who's watching out for me and is going to do the best over us, instead of these, like, corrupt politicians, or what I think are corrupt politicians, who are making the wrong choices for me or for the person next to me.
Yeah, I liked My Father's Shadow. Strong acting and style, and I don't know too much about. I don't know if this is an African production or a Nigerian production or whatever, or in general, I've not seen many movies that take place in Africa or like any of the politics or anything like that, but I felt like I was actually there, and it felt very realistic to me. So I definitely agree with you in terms of like the documentary feel sometimes, and like it felt like I was watching footage from back then, or like watching the situation go down. And I will say father-son relationship in this movie, like if you are looking for that, then this is definitely a good one to watch. I haven't watched too many, but I definitely felt moved by the depictions of a father-son relationship, even though I can't necessarily relate. I thought it did it in a pretty nuanced and gentle way, while still being dramatic and emotional. But yeah, that's the 5 minutes. And the next movie is a Korean movie as well, of Resistance.
I'll start this one.
I'm gonna go ahead and start the timer.
But anyways, a Resistance, probably thumbs down, or middle / teetering thumbs down. I actually had higher expectations for this, but I expected more, especially because I was kind of craving that like Japanese Korean colonial times, like itch. I had an itch, and this did not scratch it. It was just like, for a movie that's supposed to be about this main girl, like it's not really about her. Like we don't really know her. We don't really get any insight into who she is or who she was. They give like very minimal background, and it's like, okay. And honestly, the moments where we do get kind of a glimpse into like her psyche and the way that she works, and things that could be interesting about her character, it's just like it doesn't push far enough in those aspects. The most interesting part to me about her character was when she was talking to the other Korean girl and saying like, I wasn't doing this for the reasons that you were doing it. Like maybe my reasons are worse, or I shouldn't be seen as like, you know, as genuine for the cause as you are. That was the most interesting part, and I really wish they pushed that a little bit further, but yeah.
I don't know if I would definitely not say this thumbs down for me or anything like that. I don't think it's bad at all. I just don't know if I love it or anything particular like that. I've seen a couple movies that have the topic of Japanese colonialism in Korea. And obviously it's like a terrible event in time, and you know, there's a lot of history there. And for this one, just if I'm just talking about the movie aspect, like it as a movie, beyond the historical significance, but a lot of the movies we're talking about have historical significance. As a movie, I just, like you, I struggled to care about what was happening, other than the fact that there is an oppressed group, and they're in a prison system that's obviously very bad, and they're being tortured and all this type of stuff, and it's horrific conditions. But beyond that, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I care that much about the characters. I think that the real story of this this prisoner, this activist, this protester, the main character, I think her real story is probably very interesting. And I would love to read more about it or learn more about it. I am curious, like, if there were, like, written documents about her time in the prison, because I don't know how much, again, I don't know how much this is accurate to what happened. But we just didn't get to know much about her other than she's like super super strong and has a lot of bravery and perseverance, and I could never go through what she went through, and it's admirable in that way. But yeah, I just feel like there could have been more interesting things about her guilt, her pride, her why she's doing this in the first place. But yeah, I think it could have been stronger, but it's not necessarily a bad movie to me at all.
Another factor as to why it's just not hard hitting or thinking it's hitting in the way that it thinks it's hitting is believability. Like, yeah, it's black and white, so that it helps with like budget and stuff like that.
Overall, I think it wanted to just show how the conditions that she went through, to show how strong she is to go through it, and in that purpose or goal, I think it accomplished that. But that's our 5 minutes. And the last movie is Rental Family, which I don't have too much to say. But it's the last movie, so why not cover that as well? Rental Family is just a nice movie, like nothing too... I don't really have harsh criticisms about it or anything like that. Just a nice movie to watch if you feel like it. Not too emotional. You don't have to necessarily be in like the right mindset to watch it or anything. It's not like heavy hitting or anything, hard hitting. I do want to work at the company though. I think it'd be interesting.
It was alright. Definitely better than other films on this list. I think it's like a good movie to show kids. The little girl character didn't quite 100% believe, but if I suspend my disbelief, then yeah, it's a sweet relationship between her, and Brendan Fraser's character. I think there were some interesting characters and storylines. I'm not completely sold on different things, but that's like alright, I guess. Yeah. But I would like to work there too. It'd be more fun than the job I'm currently having, I guess.
I think it would have been interesting to see, like, when the coworkers showed up as lawyers and the other one showed up as a cop. I would have loved to see more of that. About, like, maybe make it more like a heisty movie where they have to be in multiple disguises and roles, and that would have been cool. I feel like the stories that he was in, so like with the kid and with the Japanese older actor that passed away at the end of the movie, I don't know why they chose to focus on those stories for Brendan Fraser's character. I feel like they could have done more interesting stories for him to get involved in, but I guess that's it. I don't really
it's
have too
not
much more.
As quirky as I thought it was gonna be, and that might be because it is more of a westernized American production / film / perspective. I think that if it was entirely Japanese, it would have been more interesting and have a bit more off-kilterness to it, in the same way that another Japanese movie we watched recently, like The Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy, was. It had unlike those type of Japanese movies, Rental Family has more of like a typical conventional like Americanness in terms of the way that it wants to deliver its lessons to audiences, and kind of just like a feel good type story. It doesn't really challenge you very much, which is fine. I don't think every movie has to extremely put you in challenging, emotionally charged situations, but yeah, it was serviceable. I think there were cute moments and stuff. I also agree that it would have been interesting to see the 3 Japanese characters play more of that type of heisty kind of comedic, playing on and off each other type dynamic, because we kind of see that in the beginning of the film when they do the wedding for that lady who was doing the fake one with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Which honestly was the thing that kind of sold me in the beginning of the movie to keep watching.
Yeah. Like, I did... Well, time is up, but I thought the movie was going to go a different route. I didn't know it was going to be, like, sentimental family, like, father figure thing that it did. But yeah, time's up. Our 5 minutes are up about these movies, and we'll catch you guys in the next one when we watch a couple more movies to film this or record this, because we will be watching more. Yeah, we'll catch you in the next one.